South African National Editors Forum, or SANEF, has condemned the altercation between ANC Deputy Secretary General Jessie Duarte and eNCA's senior political reporter Samkele Maseko. The comments made by Duarte have been criticised as she accused the journalist of, among other things, and I quote, having the habit of intimidating everybody, a habit of making people feel you are the lord of the media, and of wanting to defend freedom of speech you never fought for. This was following the party's press conference in Johannesburg yesterday. To discuss it further, on the line we've got Samkele Maseko. He's from eNCA and the journalist that faced the wrath yesterday. And of course in studio with us we've got Kate Skinner. She's the Executive Director at SANEF. Before I welcome our guests properly, let's just tell you that we have been trying tirelessly to get hold of ANC spokesperson Dakota Legoete, or anybody, even Jessie Duarte, to come in and talk to us. So if you're watching, please answer your phones. We want to talk to you. We really, really do. So let's continue to phone and try and get hold of them so that we can get their version of the events as well. But before we get into the discussion, let's take a look at what happened yesterday.
Now, if you have a question to me, or if you have a complaint about me, you write to the Secretary General of the ANC. I am going to complain about you to the Ombudsman, because this is what you do. Hang on, don't interrupt me. This is what you do. The last time you came here, there was a press meeting here. We were all very polite to each other. You asked one question, and then you battered the ANC on a completely irrelevant issue, and you insisted, and I will repeat what I said to you before we started this press conference. I said that I want to say to eNCA, and I'm saying it to you now, without fear, because I too have the right of freedom of speech, not only you. I said to you that if you have any attack question on the ANC that is not in our press release, you will address them to our spokesperson. All right. Now, Mr. Samkelo, you have a habit of intimidating everybody. You have a habit of making people feel that you are the lord of the media. You are one journalist. You work for one eNCA. And you think that all of us must shiver and shake. You call me a bully, but you are the worst bully I've ever come across. I've never met anyone as arrogantly disposed as you are. And you want to defend freedom of speech you never fought for. And you don't defend freedom of speech because your particular TV station has decided the direction it will go on, as it did in 2016. You followed the DA slogan of vote for change. So what do you want us to do? To bow and scrape every time you walk into a room and call you my lord, the lord of the media? You're just a journalist, like I am just a citizen. Nothing more, nothing less. And I cannot be ill-treated by you any longer and keep quiet. So I am going to the Ombudsman. And yes, it is personal now.
Can I just respond to you? With all due
Hang on.
respect.
Whatever you say, we're recording.
No, it's fine, they're recording.
Yes.
I am the utmost respectful.
No, you do not.
And the other day, you can ask himself. On Sunday, I said to him, I respect your DSG a lot. And yes, at times I may have asked harsh, direct questions. But those questions have never been about or biased against your organization. I've always been fair to you. I've never done a story against you. Yes, I will ask tough questions against Cyril Ramaphosa, against Ace Mahashule, against Didi Mabuza, against Malusi Kigaba, Batabile Dlamini, including yourself. But never have I been big-headed. Never have I thought I'm bigger than any other journalist in this country. If my direct questions offend you, with all due respect, I apologize, but I will continue asking those questions. I've got the utmost respect for you. The last time you attacked me with CD and I called you, hi, Gogo DSG, hi, Mom DSG.
I'm not your
And
Gogo.
I respect you for that. I respect you as an elderly woman who's around my grandmother's age. Just like I respect Gwede Mantashe, who's around my grandfather's age.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Thank you very much. The next time you need to interact with me, you put it in writing. You are just a journalist.
I'm just a journalist in South Africa. And I never fought for this media freedom, but I will enjoy the freedom that was fought.
Exactly, and don't undermine other people because you know,
I don't
thug.
undermine anyone.
Let's cut.
But it's fine.
Let's cut.
Thug.
So that's the event that happened yesterday. We've got Samkele on the line. Samkele, how are you feeling this morning? I mean, I have to ask you because this is an issue that is it's a personal issue as much as it talks to media freedom as well. How are you doing?
I'm trying to be okay. For me, the biggest issue was whether my grandmother and mother were fine back at home. That was my biggest worry. I've then spoken to my mother. She, as a woman of the Lord Almighty, she says, all of this will be done and healed. And with one being on his bent knees and speaking to the Lord Almighty. And I must never let these sorts of things deter me in the work I'm doing.
Yeah.
Some may resort to personal attacks and go to the extent of saying it's personal. But all of these things are one when you are in collaboration with the Lord Almighty.
Samkele, have you had an interaction or an altercation, I should say, with Jessie Duarte before? Because it certainly seems that this was a bit of a build-up that led to this outburst from her. What's happened previously?
Yes, I've had an interaction with her of this nature or magnitude of an outburst when about a year ago at Lithuli House, she was talking about feminism with my colleague Didi Madia of News 24, and I went to greet her. It was after a press briefing, and I referred to her as an elderly woman, umama, koko, that's how you would usually refer to someone who's off your mother's or grandmother's age. There's a child who was raised in a village. Abu Mama and Abu Koko were always our mothers. There is a saying in Zulu that a child is not raised by a single household, but is raised by an entire village. And they refer to everybody as your mother and as a grandmother who's around their age. So I went to greet her and she totally dismissed me and went for personal attacks on myself and on my employer, eNCA, saying we've got a certain agenda. We don't like certain people. Then I said, well, I'm sorry that you have so much anger towards eNCA and myself. I hope that one day will be okay. But in my understanding and in the line of work that I do, when I come to ask questions with any ANC events, whether it's here at Lithuli House or any other province, there is no agenda. And I left it at that. And then yesterday, it all came back to her when she said she's not taking any attacking questions from myself or eNCA, and that anyways we are biased towards a particular organization or political formation. And the rest is history until you saw what happened live on TV yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. So you tried to engage her and you kept on trying to ask the questions. In fact, I watched the full clip. I mean, there's a 17-minute clip that's available for anybody to watch where, you know, what we're showing is really just where that interaction started taking place. But there's a lot that happened before that. You were trying to ask questions and she was deflecting, and then eventually she just had an outburst. Even though she said, I don't want to take these kind of questions, was that perhaps not an indication to you to back off, or did you feel that it was her position to answer?
As a self-respecting journalist in South Africa and in the African continent, you would be really stupid not to ask an official of an organization about their national to national list to go to parliament. When you ask an official, it comes with that gravitas, that voice of command, rather than asking a spokesperson. Because a spokesperson is basically a mouthpiece of an executive or an elected structure of officials. But when you ask a direct question to the officials, then you get the line of thinking of ANC top 6 leaders, which holds more gravitas and gives the story more meat. So for me, when the DSG said, I'm not taking any attacking questions, I asked myself, what's an attacking question? Is she preempting that I'm going to ask about the ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule and the book written by Peter Louis Maybach about gangster state unraveling Ace Magashule in the Free State? I don't know, because even in the Q&A, we let her with Ntebo Mokobe of the SABC to read the entire statement. Ntebo Mokobe asked about 5 questions, and then I came in and said, with due respect, DSG, if the NCA may ask a question, why did you deem it fit to take your list to the Integrity Commission And what powers does the Integrity Commission have? Does it have powers to recommend the removal of names or can direct that certain names be removed? Then she went on a tangent about how me and eNCA are running a media campaign for the removal of Nombula Mokonyane, Malusi Kikaba, and Batabile Damene from the ANC national to national list, which I found very bizarre. Then I said to her, yes, with all due respect, these attacks that you have are unwarranted. And then the tangent started.
From your knowledge, and I ask this in all sincerity, from your knowledge, do you believe that your media organization, the eNCA, has got an agenda against the ANC? Do you feel that that perhaps that's the narrative that they would rather have than anything else? I mean, I'm asking you this because perhaps some of these allegations stem from somewhere, or some of the work that's been seen on air by the ANC, and this is something that they feel, and she wanted to address it.
There's no political formation that gets more coverage in South African broadcasting, not just at eNCA, even at the SABC, at EWN, at News 24, than the governing party. So for me, that argument holds no water. The issue at hand is that eNCA journalists, in my view, do push the envelope, do go the extra mile, do push the boundaries to ask the uncomfortable questions to all politicians in the country, irrespective of which political formation they are leading. I've asked uncomfortable questions to Musi Maimane even when he's pleaded off air not to go to the issue of Patricia de Lille. And I went for it. I went for the jugular. I've done the same with the Economic Freedom Fighters leader, Julius Halema. So for me, I don't think there's any agenda against the African National Congress at eNCA. They get fair coverage just like any political party. It so be it that they are the governing party currently at a national scale. And they will be probed more because they are controlling the public purse. And the Economic Freedom Fighters are not controlling the public purse. The DA are not controlling the public purse at a national scale. They're controlling it in the Western Cape and in certain metros with the Economic Freedom Fighters. And they too, in those metros, are posed serious questions. You go to Duarte with the shenanigans of Solim Simanga, serious questions were posed to him. You go to Johannesburg to Councillor Executive Mayor Herman Mashaba, questions are posed to him.
Samkele, just in terms of the latest now, what we are covering in our news is that the latest from the ANC is that they've requested a meeting with yourself as well as the editors at eNCA. Are you aware of it? Do you know any details about this meeting?
I'm aware of a meeting between SANEF and the editorial team at eNCA. I personally have not been called to that meeting. Probably my editor this morning, Vlomvoko, may call me if they deem it fit for me to be there. But I think it's best if management handles this issue without me being there at this point in time. I can come in at a later stage because the tensions between me and Jessie Duarte, from where I am coming from my point of view, are quite palpable at this point in time. But I've had a number of engagements with some ANC leaders, some in the ANC, some in regions here in Gauteng who may be close to Jessie Duarte and saying we want to facilitate some sort of discussion between me and her. So I'll see what happens I'm not bound to be discussing my work with ANC leaders, and I don't think I will be doing that. In fact, I won't be doing that. Everything now rests with my employer, eNCA, and they must talk to eNCA, and specifically Jessie Duarte must address her issues to eNCA and to the press ombudsman where she said she's going. But for me, the hardest is when you say it's personal. Yeah. It's never been personal. Difficult questions will be asked to all politicians, just like difficult questions have been posed to President Cyril Ramaphosa, to Deputy President Didi Mabuza. They will be posed to everyone, including Ace Magashule.
Samkele, thank you for talking to us. We can hear in your voice that this is a very, very difficult situation for you as a journalist, and especially as a journalist that wants to continue doing what you do, and you do what you do so well. So I can see the support that is there for you, and just this is not going to deter you, I hope. I mean, will you continue to do the work that you do? Do you want to continue to do this work?
I want to continue to do this work, and I will continue to do it. But if it gets to a point where it's no longer tolerable, then I have to look back, introspect, and see what's good for me. But some of the attacks they're seeing on social media and other platforms, you begin to question yourself. You begin to doubt yourself. And it's so unfortunate that amongst all of these things that are currently happening, this is what destroys young people. And it kills their spirits. Basically, you no longer have that passion because you are fearful that you may be demoralized, you may be dehumanized, you may feel as if whatever question you're asking, as if you're having a particular agenda when you are sincerely just doing your job. Yes, we do understand that you are operating in a space where our employer is a private entity. You may have particular views about shareholders, which in most cases, those of many ANC are totally devoid of agents of what's, and they don't know the proper ownership structure of the eNCA to know that it's about 62% owned by Hoskins Consolidated Investment, with a COSATU union, the South African Clothing and Textile Workers Union, owning about 38% of the e-media group, which includes eNCA.
Samkele, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you for your time. Be strong. Thank you for talking to us as well. And I'm going to say a goodbye to you on the line. And for viewers, I have got Kate Skin. I know you've been seeing her here in the shots with us. We're going to talk to SANEF in a short while now. We need to get into our news bulletin, and then we'll pick up from that conversation that we've just concluded with Samkele, who, as you can hear, is sounding very, very emotional at this time. But let's quickly get into the other news stories at 8 here at 7, I beg your pardon, just after 7 o'clock. The